Hey, what up, people? Just letting you know we're on a 15-minute delay here, and at 8 minutes past the hour, just still waiting for a couple more people to join, so hang tight, and we'll have a game for you shortly. What is going on, people? We have today for you a DMT tournament Panzer Group Round 2 match between JWT and R22R. This is going to be a pretty sick game, with R22R coming off a hot win in the off-season competitive league this weekend against L201. And JWT always seems to turn up. They're just the washed up remnants of other teams' tank crews, and somehow managed to pull off some pretty sick shots. So definitely keen for this. We got SME Night, which is pretty forgiving for a night map. There's not a hell of a lot of fog, and yeah, this is going to be sick. Put your predictions here in the chat. We got Alex definitely on the R22R side. And yeah, this is going to be pretty mad. So DMT, if you're new to it, it comes down to combat score at the end of the game, and it also comes down to the time that you've held midpoint. So each second that you hold mid counts for a point, and that adds up to a total of around, let's say you get about, 75 minutes worth of potential cap time. So about 4,500 points you can get there. And then games generally run up to a big game, sort of 10,000 plus. In terms of the form coming into this, both teams have some pretty solid form. It's only round 2, but JWT won their round 1 match, and they played SAS and posted up just over 11,000 points. So they're actually top of the table there in the Panzer Group. And R22R had a narrow loss to 58p, so they're going to want to redeem that as soon as possible. But there's only 300 points in it, and they posted up nearly 9,000. So it's definitely going to be a tight game here. Let's have a look at some spots. So I'm sitting on JWT side here. They are the allies coming into midpoint. So strat normally is to get that midpoint cap, so then the other team is having to push onto you. You're wanting to sort of establish a nice position. Maybe use some of these walls here that sort of blocks off your hull shots. Gets you nice and solid in the point, some of these walls, and then they're going to be watching for entry points, which are relatively choked for the German side. You've got to sort of blindly walk around this corner with a 90-degree view and a whole lot of trees in the way, so hard to push that corner. You've also got, obviously, this corner over here on the other side, which has a similar but probably slightly easier entrance, because you're only really looking at this sort of 30-degree point here, with the church blocking off the other entry point for the Allies. So I'd say R22R flanks will be on. And for this season of DMT, we've also got recon tanks available. So you can use your mediums, which is your sort of standard play, but you can also whip out a wee Puma or a Greyhound as well to get a flank on, put up some distractions. These tankers are good enough to not die to a solo recon tank from behind. They definitely can react to that, but it puts some pressure on, and if you push at the same time, you can really pull off some pretty sick kills. I'd say JWT probably has the experience in this comp, as a lot of the guys that run the show are actually part of this team. Who have we got on the team here? Let's go over with Squiz. So, having a wee chin wag. at HQ. Cuba, big name to watch. Purple Goat's commanding. Commander doesn't do a hell of a lot in this game. They just chuck up recon planes, and they can also use a precision, I believe. And then, what other crews do we have? We've got Sunshiny and McNasty down here at the bottom HQ, and then big OCE name as well for JWT, which for some reason they must have taken a tank up already, but Big Nutty representing OCE in this mostly North American matchup. So I hope you do well, mate. So the strat here from JWT to start with looks to be take one north, one up the guts. Once 15 minutes has gone on the clock, then the game kicks off and we'll start to see people sending it up. What does... I wonder what R22R are thinking here. Can we get eyes on the tank, maybe? So they're definitely going to send one up the guts. That's essential, right? You got to cap the midpoint. But how do they go about making sure they're getting those initial kills? US does have the advantage getting to this point, so I'd say we'll see maybe a little sneak down this road that we're looking at just now, so that they can come facing forward into the midpoint, and we'll probably see one come from that south side as well. And I'd say at least one flanks. But with 4 tanks, you've got a lot of options there. I'd almost argue even 2 flanking, eh? Yeah. But a huge part of these tank matches is it's that working together, which once, I mean, like any Hell Let Loose game, once a team nails that, you're at least 50% of the way to the win, is being able to work together. And as you know, 2 shots from a medium on another medium is going to kill it, right? So if you've got 2 tanks playing off against 1 tank, that's a straight kill. There's no... Like, there's a little bit of probability in it in terms of landing the shots, but you can even afford to miss one there because the solo tank needs 4 shots to kill both. So working together is massive in this format, and I want to see heaps of that from these crews. You can't win this just being a solo hero. Definitely not. So we've got 4 minutes to go until we start rolling up, and looking like JWT is going to have 2 come up the middle. Makes sense. Like we said, work together. Get those initial shots off. Let's try to find R22R's tanks. So they'll have definitely 1 coming up the middle because that's the default from HQ. First out of the box is Sacrament, Ripdrawl, and Little QC. Sounds like we may also have another one rolling up here. Yeah, then we got one coming out of bottom HQ with Tarot, Leknak, and Hero. Interesting. JWT going for the 4th tank and a recon to start with. Something we were discussing pre-game with JWT was actually having bait tanks. Obviously, if you're going to use a bait tank, you're going to use the recon because it's worth less fuel to you. It's an interesting strat though, because this game isn't one on who holds the midpoint at the end, it's one on points, so I'd be cautious about giving free kills away. Although sending that bait tank up obviously gives you the position to get superiority of that initial cap, but I wouldn't have 3 in it, I'd just have 1, so that it minimises the number of combat points that the other team get from killing that tank. 1.5 minutes now. This initial push is going to be spicy. So they've only got 1 flanking from JWT. They're safe though. They don't need to. They've got the advantage of here of having the midpoint over their side, having the strong point on their side, so they don't actually have to panic too much about needing to get somewhere quickly. They can sit back and take the first shots. Whereas R22R are going to have to... They've definitely got the harder push into this midpoint, by far. Righto. It's a 15-minute hold time done. Now we've got 75 minutes of tanks. Let's go. Right. Let's follow Sacrament up, see what he does. I'm most interested in how R22R attack this midpoint, because it's huge to get that initial midpoint and superiority. It's a real mental game as well. Making sure that the other team has to come to you. But it's just as much of a strategy in itself to just sort of let the other team have a bit. Let them think they've got superiority and then come out while they're not ready for it. We'll watch Rough Puff come in here. Looks like that initial recon tank. He has gone for cap weight early. Purple Goat's chucked up his recon plane. Almost perfect timing there. It's actually going to capture this tank and potentially the one behind it as well, which is huge information. It does. It catches 3 of the tanks. That's massive. R22R hopefully heard that and are thinking about how they're going to attack this now that they've got now that JWT know where they are. JWT are pushing strong into the midpoint now. Interesting. Rough Puff turns north. Not sure what that strat is. Okay, he's trying to hold strong on the north to watch their flank. I like that. But Sacrament takes a whack. I like R22R's setup. However, I'm not sure where he got whacked from. Ah, that's Nosy Medic there. Now he's taking on old Jimbo. Oh, that's some dusty shots there from Medic and crew. That's the first kill on the board for Jimbo and crew. And another tank takes damage up here in the north side. The north flank, we missed that shot, but it looks like 2 to the... Yeah, it's 2 to R22R. Has to be. Well, we're busy watching old Nosy Medic get whacked. That tank to the north also got smoked, so well played there, R22R. We'll update the scoreboard there. Scoreboard showing time held bid as well for R22R. So once they cap here, assuming they do cap, we will start that timer so we can keep track of who's racking up points here. Really strong position. Jimbo's backed off to repair. Terrell's now holding this corner. They do have a tank right in front of them as well. Don't fuck with Cuba, he knows what he's doing. Oh, this is going to end poorly if Terrell doesn't know he's there. Just going to leave those north tanks for a sec and see how this engagement plays out. Now they're probably using sound here to determine... Cuba's definitely using sound to determine where that Panzer IV is. Let's cap, start timer. Oh, Cuba whacks a shot on Jimbo, who's overextended. I haven't watched that corner, but this could end quite badly for old Cuba. Shit, he doesn't know there's 2 there. Oh, that's rough. It's terrible timing. Another kill for R22R. For some reason my timer's not working, so... Uh-oh. Jimbo cops another one from downrange. It's a turret shot though. But he can't get around quick enough. And that's Jimbo gone. Does Terrell see him? Looks like he does. 2 shots bounce there. Nosy and Terrell duking it out. It looks like Terrell's tank has hit a turret shot, whereas Nosy might have hit a hull, but Nosy goes down. Massive plays here from R22R. It's another for R22R and we'll update for JWT. See if I can fix that timer. Nah, it's cooked. Oh well, who cares? So right now, R22R with massive superiority over midpoint. Terrell's gonna tuck in here, closing off one of those angles that he can be attacked from. Meanwhile, Kilroy's coming in. Now this is a point where you shouldn't get thirsty, because right now, JWT are down 1-4. I need to think carefully about how they take this next engagement, as it hasn't worked from the last time. So R22 are definitely holding those key points. JWT are going to change tack here and try the flank. Now that's going to work for them if... Oh, that's interesting. What's Rough Puff doing here? Right, shortening that angle. That's good. Means he can back out easier. Does take a shot. So R22R just a bit exposed to the south, with no one looking there. Though Rough Puff can see down there from a spotter scope, as he's certainly covering that north. Good stuff here from Kilroy, realizing that you can't push solo. Nice spot, good cover, but you better hope your gunner knows what he's doing, Nutty. Because you cannot miss a shot from that position, there's nowhere to go. Now, I don't need to do anything here aside from chuck out recon planes. Try and get an idea on where the hell they're going to attack from. Oh shit. We just left for a sec. And that P4 gets wiped by Nutty here. With the old tank commander in the driver's seat. It just seemed like R22R got a bit maybe bored and just wanted to push that corner. But you'd think if you haven't seen JWT for a while, you're probably assuming that they're set up ready to move in almost. But it can get a bit boring sitting there in the tank by yourself. You can almost get a bit restless as well. Here's an engagement going on now. I heard a ricochet, but I can't see it. That flank paid off. With JWT racking up another kill. Pretty textbook. They've come in, hit it from another angle. You only get 4 tanks. You don't have the ability to cover every spot as they repair. Cuba wants to peek and get the superiority on the corner again. They do have Jimbo just up the road there. But certainly with the superiority on this road. Did Jimbo lose a player? I'm just wondering why the cap is still happening here. We've only got one. Oh, these guys are in the cap too. That makes more sense. Alright. I get the feeling we'll see a push now. And we do. It's Cuba and who's in that tank? Nosy. Rolling up to this corner. They did get shots on Jimbo before, so they know he's there. Or he's flanked. And that's possibly why Nosy has his gun left. No, they're just going to push right out. A ricochet. Cuba. No return fire from Jimbo. That's interesting. Another ricochet. Jimbo gets a shot on. He's up against 2 tanks. This isn't probably going to end well for him, but he does get a kill, which is important. However, Cuba cleans up Jimbo. That's important to keep the score ticking over there for R22R. Did we miss anything up top? Probably. There's action everywhere in this game. Right, now old mate Terrell's got his fresh tank back, but he's in a bit of strife. He's copying shots from the boys coming from the south, so he needs to back off and repair. Good play there from him. One thing you see a lot in this game is people committing too hard for a shot. Now, Terrell, he never had a shot there. He's facing the other way. But the biggest mistake you can make when you're pushing and you don't hit the first shot is not backing off. You should always back off. See, old Cuba there, he realises I'm not going to get shots now down there, so I'm better off to just chill, just assess my surroundings, listen out for any other tanks, and not go chasing after that kill. We've got plenty of time. We've got 60 minutes to get points up on the board. But right now it's pretty even. We've got QC on 3 kills, Bricks on 2. Let's just check the combat scores, just to be sure. This scoreboard updates pretty slowly on my end. I'll let those 16, 20. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish kills there for R22R. That looks about right. And then 2, 3, 4. Looks to be 5 kills actually on the JWT side, so we've obviously missed one there. I can't be everywhere at once. So it's pretty even. With time capped as well. It's sort of flicked back and forth, so this is going to be awfully close. Alright, I've got good marks up here from whoever's in B squad. He's obviously seen Terrell push out somehow. He's got really good ears. Terrell's going to push the road now. He's probably not going to see any shots just yet. Cuba's tucked away down there. Uh-oh. The hell happened there? Nosy taking that superior position up front. Watching that corner. He knows Cuba has the road south. Nicely done. They've essentially cut off half the map there. The main concern post that is just looking for flanks, which we have marked here. So Cuba's in here. They've marked up a tank south. Ah, we got a boomer on a flank. There we go. See how this Puma does. Now he wants to make sure he's got mates up front that can capitalise on this distraction here. He shouldn't be going for kills by himself. He does know Cuba's there though. It's going to be slightly tough for him to turn his tank, but he is getting the barrel behind, so they know about that Puma. Unlucky with the missed shot there. They should move now. Move, don't waste it. Good. Get out. Don't get out. Run. Unfortunately, this Puma is cooked. Just watch this slow demise here. Just run. Just try and get him while he's... Oh no, Bricks! What are you up to, mate? Puma lives to fight another day. Well played there. Who was that? That was Jimbo in the driver's seat. Now's a good time for another P4 to push that south. Try and catch Cuba off guard. Any attack marks coming up on the crossroads. 2 P4s pushing hard. Go together, man. Come on. Don't want to split up here. Uh-oh. Terrell has been spotted by the looks of things, and he's not sure where he's getting shot from either. This could spell disaster if he doesn't hide quickly and rep. Looks like they might have just got to a spot where they're a little bit safe. Hero reps it up, that's good. Okay, interesting. Sacrament's pushed up. He's got one shot in, and he's actually gone and taken that kill on the church. Rack up another one for R22R. It's lucky there, they should really be working together a lot more. Rough Puff is coming on this flank as well. It just looks like Terrell and crew are jumping the gun a bit here though. Ooh, surprise! They wear that first shot. They get one of their own though. They've got no right to win this. Oh, nice positioning behind that wall. Well done. Really good shooting from... Is it Lekanek? Is that how I say it? I hope that's right. Extremely good shooting there. And excellent positioning behind that wall. That cuts off a lot of your hull there from shots. Too risky for my liking. They should stop pushing by themselves. It is hard though, because you get sort of in this mindset of we need mid, we don't know how long we've held it, no one's set a timer, so we're probably quite close in combat score and we need points on mid to win, and they tend to just want to get into the action quickly. And it looks to be another Sherman dead. No, it's P4. P4 is dead. And that has died to a big flank. Some very long range shots here. Fuck you. Better zoom this in. This is half the map. I can't even see the... Oh, there's the JWT. So JWT looks to have gotten that first shot on. Who is it? Sunshiny. They look clear, so they haven't copped one yet. This one should go to JWT. And it does. Nice long range snipe there. Who was shooting that? That was McNasty. That was good. I liked that shot. R22R still with superiority over mid with the cat. Nasty going on the flank. Interesting. I feel you don't need to flank further than the main road as the US, because you already are on a flank when they've pushed into midpoint on that main road, but he must have a plan. Because see, if he kept that main road and even pushed down it, he'd have shots on Sacrament. He would have had shots on, this must be Terrell here as well. But bigger plans. Some big brain shit at play here. JWT now with their 4 tanks back on the field. Communicate. They're a very good team at communicating well. I mean, same with RD2R, with this game being very close, but just seen a couple of examples from both teams pushing by themselves. You ideally want to be able to have eyes on your mates, so at least pair up for this type of match. Let's try and get a lock on where. Oh, here we go. I think that spells the end for that greyhound. Yeah, he's cooked. Nice try, but it's just 3 points. I don't like that strat. I think you should just wait. So it's all down to combat score. Sometimes the midpoint health doesn't even matter. Like, it doesn't even play into it. Alright, bit of a YOLO play here from Sunshiny. He has been given a mark by that greyhound on the P4 that came and scooped up the greyhound. Yeah, I'm looking for it too, mate. He must have pushed back down at a point, eh? Unless he's sweeping around the flank to make sure. Midpoint contested. That's an interesting part of this game as well. You can really get a gauge on who's where, and where the hell did that come from? So an R22R crew has come on a massive flank by himself Sat in the corner. And Cuba's just come up right behind him. Especially with midpoint held, I wouldn't be looking back the other way. And Sacrament cops one from the back. And he's going to go down to Sunshiny, who was on his way back from that YOLO play there. It did end up timing well for him. Lucky. I wouldn't be facing that way. Let's consolidate forces. Let's sit tight. Oh, got some scraps going on northways. And that's going to be an easy win for JWT there. With 2 tanks facing off against 1. It generally doesn't end well for the solo. Sunshiny needs to go off and rep. Right. 4 mediums up now. JWT. Capping mid. Got Jimbo rolling up with his gun the wrong way. White's driven into a pole by the looks of things, and giving an easy kill there for JWT to take the lead on. Yeah, that wasn't a kill. Cool. JWT will take the lead on kills now. What are you shooting at, Nutty? There must still be one flanking then. Because these shots keep whacking down here. Weird. Smart Kilroy, I suppose, but you're sort of exposing yourself to that south flank. Really looking for superiority here, JWT. As a shot comes downrange, there must be someone sitting way back here. Shots on here. And looks to be a nice kill from Terrell. I didn't see who was in that JWT tank, but Happens every time, eh? It's happened to both sides. They cap mid and they just get restless. If you want to win this game, you just need to hold mid. Have someone watching backwards for the flanks. So there's a really nice spot here. Oh. So if Cuba was sitting here, and then they had two other tanks. Here comes the recon plane. Spotting one south. They had two other tanks facing forward on Church. And then one facing, maybe up to that, say, northeast side. You've locked it down. You don't need to be silly and drive up front and do a backflip. Because by my count, it's very close. It's probably JWT's way slightly based on midpoint capped, but I have to go back and count the time there since my timer fucked out. It's the first time I've used it, so I didn't even test it. But at least the score's working. Another fight going on here. A flank has occurred. And looks like this R22R tank probably doesn't have a chance. His gun's facing forward, and yeah, let's see you later. And JWT into double digits by my count. There probably are kills that I have missed, so we'll do a recount at the end and see who wins on this scoreboard there. Who was that? Kilroy, Nutty, Medshark. Nice flank, but I suppose it's not a terrible spot for them to be now. Oh, with a tank marked directly in front of them. We do have Rough Puff getting ripped here. He's unlikely to be pushing towards Kilroy there, but we can only hope. Hearing some other shots. Who else is shooting? Looks like possibly a JWT tank has gone down as well. Just fix that scoreboard for ya. Rough Puff's tank has taken a shot. Looks like he made a push to main road and he's come face to face with Nosy and crew. And that's what's got that shot in there. Cavalry sees it as a safe time to push now. And Rough Puff has to put his gun to back to contest this. A P-strike. Interesting placement there. Goat. Cavalry's crew rolling out on Rough Puff, unawares. First shot in the back. Textbook there. From Medshark. He'll get the second one. That's a kill there for JWT. Starting to get some JWT dominance here. Sunshiny's tank going on a flank. So I think their strat now, by the looks of it, is to actually hold positions over where R22R are going to move towards midpoint, rather than meeting them at the midpoint. It's a good strat, but it doesn't cover as much ground, and there's a high likelihood, unless all 4 tanks are hiding in a bush and, holding strategic roads, you're sort of leaving yourself exposed a bit for a flank of their own. But it requires some extreme patience, this game. Like, how long has Cuba been sitting there? Probably the last 10 minutes. Just waiting to make sure that they don't get flanked. Smart play. And mid goes contested. So that's their indicator that there are at least 2 R22R tanks inside the soft cap. Purple Goat chucks up his recon plane. Let's see what that brings up for us. Nothing on the recon, but we do have Terrell, who's taking an interesting route here. He's going to come head on. You're going to shoot? Click. Maybe he didn't load. Just try to do it with the hull. Just send it, I guess. Each to their own. Mid shot gets that kill there for Kilroy's crew. And he jumps out to wreck. Nice shooting there. Good stop and shoot. That was... If you know that you've got time, you do want to set a nice platform for your gunner, but interesting that R22R crew didn't shoot there. It could have been some sort of disconnection issue, or potentially they just weren't looking. But it's another free kill for JWT. Puma gets flank on. I was going to say he's on his own, but it actually doesn't sound like he's on his own. He gets a shot in. There's another P4 that is flanked with him. That's a smart play. I like that. That kill goes to R22R. Well done. So it's just one tank that's gone down from JWT here on the midpoint, and point's not contested anymore, so I better rack up that JWT kill as well, shouldn't I? That recon tank. Now we contested again with one JWT tank. And Softcat. So he's contested against. Who we got here? Sacrament. Rolls up. Nosy has seen that the cap is contested. There's more fighting going on as well, but I want to see this midpoint contest. We just can't catch them all, right? Nice. Use those angles. Use that church. Nosy is really hard to see there. Interesting, did Sacrament see that? Nosy's crew has eyes. Takes a shot, ricochets though. Does Sacrament see it? Oh, they look a bit confused. They cop one, two. It's a turret and a hull, they've only got one left in them. I'd be getting right out of there. Straight back. Looks like they've just cottoned on to where they're getting shot from, but a bit late there with JWT taking that kill. And looks like JWT may have lost Cuba's tank. Well, that might have been their tank actually. Slightly late to the party here, but we'll see Rough Puff and crew get a nice kill up north here to then take superiority of this main road. It's a nice spot here. We can see quite far down, and Nosy and crew are still holding that road, so we may see a nice long range fight. I love these long range fights. Though it's going to be very difficult to see. Yeah, so in theory these two could see each other if it were daytime. They do have a stronger scope than me, and it looks like JWT tank of Nosy Medic does have eyes. Uh-oh. They land a shot. Looks to be on hull as well. He needs to really back off here and get the fuck away and cover. He's stuck himself on a car, and he'll go down for that. Rack another one up for JWT. Did they take damage down there? Looks like Slim Shady's just finished repping. And as he reps, sounds like we've got another fight. With the R22R pushing the crossroads. Copped one. Good shooting there. Rabbit Steve. It's the second one. Good kill. Nice use of this dead Sherman as well. It's cover. That's really good because I can just shoot over that, whereas that P4 doesn't have a good chance of getting around that. It's another JWT kill. We will go and count up scores at the end as well, because I've definitely missed at least one. I'll just fix that scoreboard there for you. That's a bit better. Goat putting up the recon plane. This is starting to get a bit in-game here. With JWT definitely holding that midpoint for slightly longer, so nothing on the recon. Let's assume midpoint's even for a sec. Just check out the scoreboards. So 3697 combat for R22R, and then what we got, about 1,000. Some more points just went up there, but I'll forget about that for now. So about 5,000 points there for JWT. Plays 3,500. So it's definitely sitting in JWT's favour here. But I'd say both teams have shown fantastic tank skill. I've seen some ripper kills from either side. I don't know what that shot was going for, but it missed. Again, JWT looking to put the foot on the throat here. They've pushed out past midpoint. The game can easily be won in the last 5 minutes. If they just start playing a little bit silly and you get two tanks working together, just ripping through and isolating, it's definitely not over. JWT will have a bit of midpoint advantage. They are coming in here as the favourites on the form. DMT comp. This is tournament 5. It's grown significantly over the years to now have, we're about 16 teams playing off here, and they've had to be split into 2 groups with 7 rounds each, then pushing into a quarter-final, semi-final stage, and final stage to round up in September, so it's quite a long tourney. It'll be good for either team to try and get some solid points on the board. Points gained is also an important factor here, as like with any sport, points differential. If you've won the same amount of games, it then comes down to another factor of how many points you got. So even if you think you're going to win a match, you should be playing as hard as you can to rack up those points, because you never know when you're going to need them towards the end of the season. Righto. Now, I hope what this means is that R22R are grouping up and they're saving up their fuel and they're sending out at least 2 at a time. As we see one come from bottom HQ. Hopefully there's one from middle or top that are going to meet them on the road. Surely Sacrament knows he can't do this by himself. JWT have had heaps of time to get into position. Oh, midpoint contested with 2 in the soft cap. That means there's a flank that we've missed. I thought it was a bit quiet. How deep did they go? Are they just coming up South Road? Looks to be a Puma down there. There's more than one tank though. If that Puma gets out of soft cap, we're not contested anymore, but there's still another tank somewhere. Righto, then Kilroy and Nutty have snuck their way back into sector. Scrap going on here. This could go either way. They've got a shot each. R22R needed that, but they don't get it. Just having one other tank there to help support, and they did. They had. Where's he gone? Is that Jimbo? Jimbo's playing his own game. It's dangerous in these late stages. You need to be working together. Looks like Jimbo's just cleared a dead tank out from in front of him. You don't need cap weight right now, you need kills. Check the scoreboard. Add him up. Uh-oh. Kilroy and Nighty's crew actually go down here. Who's come through with that? Rough Puff. As they were repping. It's nicely done from those fellas. So now I've got mid contested. With 2 in soft cap. Okay. What's this Puma gonna do? Nice shot down there in the alley, but again, you're not gonna do any serious damage by yourself, that Puma. But does he have a call out for his mates down further north? And it looks and sounds like that Puma's just gonna get wiped. Again, you can't play this game by yourself, but you certainly can't play the Puma by yourself. as the cap was moved slightly, but it's gone back now. So 3 is a real stronghold of JWT still on the midpoint, with Kilroy, Nutty and crew coming up, and we've just seen another P4 get wiped by JWT, rolling his way into midpoint. Looks to be... Oh, he wasn't on his own, but Jimbo definitely didn't have sight lines for that. I wouldn't push any further than that, Jimbo. In fact, I'd even hide until you've got another tank to push with you. Does start to get a bit messy in the later stages for these matches. Jimbo must hear him. Wow. That's a JWT flex, if I've ever seen one. Stop. You don't need to show off like that, goat. You've even damaged your own tank, mate. Nah, good precision. Commander doesn't get enough love in this game mode. They're responsible for setting up recon planes, dropping precisions, spawning the tanks, but a commander can make a massive difference in this game, because it's another brain to be working on and, you know, strategizing about where your tanks need to be. So if I'm a commander in one of these games, I'm looking at where my tanks are, what angles they're holding, keeping a mental note of where they've seen other tanks so that they don't have to remember that, and keep putting up marks as well. A commander here can make a huge difference, even though they can't leave HQ and see anything. They can, yeah, they can win or lose a game, definitely, in this format. So I'm just going to have that tank cleared by Nosy and crew. 10 minutes left on the clock. It's looking like I can almost call a JWT win here, based on those scoreboard numbers and mid-cap held. Again, my timer fucked out for midpoint held, so we're just going to have to use the official one, but probably got time for one more full-on push. And in that time, they can get 4 kills, get up to 17 to 19, and get that a lot closer. Bearing in mind that I haven't seen every kill, so my score's possibly slightly off. That's just the kills I've seen. But JWT have a very strong hold here. So they've closed up North Road. They're going to see if anyone's trying to flank around the top. South Road's sorted as well. We've got one probing, Kilroy, Nutty and Med, and then a big play here from Sunshiny and crew. They're holding this main road into point. If R22R play it right, that's an easy kill for them. Oh, as we have shots down by mid, but it looks like it was just another dead tank being cleared. If R22R just roll up in pairs, that's an easy kill. You should always roll in pairs in this game. It's just free kills. Like, if you come up against one tank, as a pair of tanks, it's tough to lose that engagement. And what do we got here? Thought they might have held that road together, but it looks like they're fighting each other now. Sun shining and medic crews. I can't actually tell if they're actually in an engagement or if they're just cleaning up the map. Here we go. R22R is rolling out Terrell as one of their final pushes. Are they going to wait and pair up? No. They are in a bit of a hurry to get points, but they are going to... Oh, there's no cover there. We probably better keep moving there, but the driver's done a good job to make it hard for them to be hit behind these walls, but they don't have eyes. After copping a shot, they're pretty fucked, to be honest. There they go. Nutty spotted that from... Oh, and the support tank's just coming up too. What a shame. Hopefully that R22R tank did put a mark up for his teammates, but mid is starting to be capped with no JWT in the strong point. They're actually starting to cap root, which you're not allowed to do, but I'm sure that's just an accident. There's another free kill there for Medshark, Nutty and Kilroy, but Jimbo's gonna win this engagement. Well played there, Jimbo and crew. Right, as we get two JWT tanks back to the midpoint, the cap starts to go back. I'm assuming this is going to be that Puma that keeps pissing around in the back lines, causing trouble. Right, we've got a JWT Sherman sweeping up the main road, making sure that's clear. Uh-oh. Another R22R kill here. From Jimbo himself. The man, the myth, the legend. Still half dead from that earlier engagement. Missing a spotter. QC666 nails his shot. And they're just going to roll in half dead. Why not? Let's watch then. See how you go. Cuba and crew running to sweep out the back. Kilroy's rolling his way back to mid as well. But Cap starts going the other way, so that either means... Oh, that could mean two tanks in soft cap, and it is. So we've got another P4, Jimbo's mate, down the road here, waiting for support. Good play. Got no JWT in behind, but there will be a sneaky play here from Kilroy and crew. And I doubt R22R know anything about this. So, there's a bit of a sandwich here actually. Well done here from JWT identifying where R22R coming in from getting a free... What is probably going to be a very clean double tap, to be honest. Yeah, there it is. Saucy double tap right there. Cuba's crew starting to cop shots from a Puma. Good simultaneous push there from the Puma and Jimbo's crew. Jimbo hopefully gets this hull